Hello everyone, and welcome back to Yogalibrium. Today I have a 1-hour yin yoga full body sequence for you. We're going to start standing in this one at the top of the mat. We're going to start with some head rolls. We're going to gently lean the right ear towards the right shoulder, and for a moment bring the right hand up on top of the head and breathe some space into the left side of your neck. And we'll gently let that go and start to roll the head forward, chin towards chest. And then left ear over to left shoulder, maybe again adding the weight of the left hand this time. Stretching the right side of the neck. As you release that, we'll go ahead and tip the head all the way back behind us. So our gaze is up towards the sky. And the throat chakra is opening. We'll come back to neutral and start that again on the other side. As you roll the head to center, take a breath. And then right ear over to right shoulder. And again, tipping the head back behind you. And back up to neutral. And we'll go ahead and take some easy neck rolls here. A few times one way, and a few times the other way. And be sure to be easy and gentle as you do this. Feel free to pause anywhere that feels like it needs a little bit of added breath and awareness. Feel free to bypass anything that doesn't feel right. And then come back to neutral. Let's tuck the chin to the chest and start to roll ourselves all the way down towards the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. Feeling free to soften into your knees here. Allow the torso to be nice and heavy, and the head to hang completely with the weight of gravity. Bend back into the knees, tuck the tailbone underneath. And as you pour the weight through the soles of the feet, roll yourself all the way back up to stand and shrug the shoulders behind you. We're going to arch the spine, finding a cow-like posture as we come all the way back down towards the floor, arriving at your version of straight legs. And then we'll bend the knees again and slowly unravel all the way back to the top. So again, we'll arch through the spine here. Stick the tailbone out, sliding all the way down. Relax the weight of the head. Legs come to your version of straight. Take a breath. Bending the knees again, let's roll ourselves all the way back up to stand one last time. And then arching through the spine, making your way all the way back down. This time, we'll pause here. Feel the distribution of your weight in your feet. Shake your head yes. Shake it no. And let's take an inhale. Lift the chest up. And then softly step just the left foot back. We're going to start by coming down into dragon pose. So the left knee will soften towards the mat. The hands will find the inside of the right leg. Wiggle the right foot out to the side, and maybe you're going to stay here on top of your hands or even on top of a prop. If you have a little bit more space, you could lower elbows towards your prop or towards the floor. We're starting with a pretty intense pose, so make sure you set yourself up in a way that feels beneficial. Remember, we're only looking to find our edge at first, so that we give ourselves plenty of time to relax into the posture. As we find our edge, we start to find stillness. And we completely surrender to time. We're staying in this pose for about 3.5 minutes more. And as you breathe into your posture, you're finding not only space in the body, but also space within the mind. Finding more space between each thought. Beautiful job. We're just going to take a few more breaths here. And at the bottom of your next exhale, slowly start to make your way all the way back up from wherever you are. We're going to release this one by sliding the right leg around and back. You can take just a second to pause and release that energy a little bit. And then we're going to lie down on top of the left hip so that the right leg is stacking on top of the left. Right hand's out in front of you for a little bit of added support, and the left palm is out just beside your left hip. And we're going to breathe here into the left side rib cage. Again, finding as much stillness as possible. And once you find your edge, and doing your best to find the absolute minimal amount of effort that you feel you need to hold yourself in the pose. And do your best not to collapse into that left shoulder, but rather let the energy of the left palm support you here. Making space between the left shoulder and the left ear. Allow your next breath to be your deepest breath so far. And at the bottom of the exhale, we're going to slowly transition out of this pose. So we're going to start to flip ourselves back around onto our belly, but I want you to keep using and pressing into that left hand for some support as you weave the right arm underneath you. So the right shoulder is connecting towards the mat. The left fingertips can stretch out in front of you and relax towards the floor. Option to start to bend that right knee out beside you in a 90-degree angle so that the knee is in line with the hip and the ankle is in line with the knee. And allowing yourself to completely melt into this posture. Finding yourself relaxing more and more the deeper we go into this practice. Last breath here. And we'll go ahead and slide the right leg back over to meet the left. We'll start to lift ourselves up, slide both hands back behind us, interlace fingers, and on an inhale, peel the chest up off the mat. Exhale, release. Press your palms underneath the shoulders, and we'll go ahead and send the hips back into child's pose. Relaxing your forehead towards the floor. Allowing the hips to sink nice and heavy over top of the heels. And we're going to breathe here for about 3 minutes. And nice and slow, we're going to start to roll ourselves all the way up to sit on top of the heels. Beautiful. We're going to bring the knees together. And let's take a little release for the top of the foot. So lifting the right knee up. Good. Guide it down. And the left knee. Beautiful. Let that go. Bring the hands in front of you. We're going to tuck the toes behind us. Guide the hips back on top of the heels. You could use the fingertips on the floor here for support, or bring the hands up on top of the thighs. If it feels okay, maybe the hands can come to heart center. If it still feels okay, maybe you can release the arms behind you, open the chest up, and possibly drop your head back. So all options are equal. This is a pretty intense pose, so just be exactly where you are and breathe as deeply as you can. We're not going to be here for very long. And if you're leaning back, start to bring yourself forward again. Let's take one more full deep breath in wherever we are. And on an exhale, let it go. Beautiful. From here, we're going to bring the hands forward on the mat. Let's release the toes and give them a nice tap out behind us. Let that go. And let's come all the way down to lie on the belly. So you might unravel yourself through a little cobra here. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose. As you feel ready, you're going to take the elbows so that they're underneath the shoulders. You're going to have your hands, palms facing down on the mat, fingers spread nice and wide. Keeping the hands parallel to one another. I want you to feel like energetically your forearms are pulling back towards you as you bring your heart forward through your arms. So it's very subtle. If it feels good to you, you might take the palms a little bit wider and extend the elbows off the floor, coming into seal pose. If you try this out and it doesn't feel beneficial to you, then just go ahead and lower back down into Sphinx. And whichever option you choose, just continue with your beautiful deep breath. Any thoughts that are coming through your awareness, just letting them float by, not becoming attached. And with every breath, carrying the intention of being as present as you can be, here and now. If you're still in seal pose, I want you to go ahead and lower back down into Sphinx. Let's take one last full deep breath in here in Sphinx. And on the exhale, we're going to release towards the floor. The forehead can rest on the hands. Maybe taking a moment to gently shift the pelvis from side to side. And then let's take the hands underneath the shoulders again, press ourselves up into a tabletop position. And after you arrive in your tabletop, I want you to press into the hands and the knees and round out your spine. Sending all of that breath into the backside body. And then coming into neutral, tuck the toes and extend up into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to take the feet nice and wide. We're going to find some external rotation with the toes. And we're going to gently guide the hands back as we lower into Malasana, our yogi squat. You could use your hands supporting on the floor, bring your hands to heart center, or if you happen to have a prop like a block that you can place underneath the sit bone, you can feel free to use that for this pose. So this one requires a little bit more energy to maintain. So if you feel like it's too much to hold the pose here without a prop, then I could also invite you to go ahead and take Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose from a seated position. And remember, this is your time and your practice, so be sure to set something up that works for you. Last breath here in our yogi squat. And we're gently going to release the hands towards the floor, slowly extend the tailbone up towards the sky and wiggle the feet together. Hanging forward for a moment. And then let's crawl the hands out gently along the mat, arrive in downward facing dog. And then slowly crawling the feet, one at a time, all the way back up to the top of the mat. Once you arrive, take an inhale, lengthen through the chest, and an exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen your chest, and as you exhale, step your right leg back. Soften the right knee down, bring the arms to the inside of the left leg, and wiggle the left foot over towards the left side of your mat. Dragon pose, this time on the second side. Take your time here. Remember, just look for your edge at first. You know, we're going to be here for a few minutes, so you have time to relax into the posture. Give yourself all the time you need. Focus on your breath. And focus on feeling the sensations as they come up. Noticing the thoughts as they come up. Not being attached. remember every breath is an opportunity to be present. And every moment that you're present, you allow your body to open up more and more. So keep breathing. And we are almost done with this one. Just take a couple more deep breaths here. And at the bottom of your next exhale, taking your time, slowly starting to come back up. Nice job. Let's ease out of this posture. We'll slide that left leg around behind us. And then we're going to come to lie down on top of the right hip. Left leg stacked on top of right. Right hand out beside you supporting. Finding some deep breaths into your right side rib cage this time. And we're going to be here for about 2.5, 3 minutes. breath here. Beautiful job. We're going to move out of this one. We're going to go ahead and start to lie down on the belly. We'll press our right hand down on the mat for support and then weave the left arm underneath so that the left shoulder comes down. Extend the right arm out in front of you. Option to bend that left knee out beside you in a 90-degree angle. And then go ahead and rest your forehead towards the floor. And finding yourself relaxing here as you melt into your mat. Witnessing the rise and fall of your rib cage. Surrendering to this moment in time. that left leg is bent out beside you, go ahead and release it back towards center. We'll gently start to lift up the upper body and release that left arm out from underneath. Extend the arms behind us, interlace fingers, and peel the chest up off the mat. Releasing back down, plant the hands back under the shoulders, and let's press back into child's pose. And once you arrive in child's pose, take a full deep breath in and fill up the back space of the body. And let it go. We're going to crawl the knees up the mat, cross the ankles, go ahead, sit down, and extend the legs out in front of you. We're coming into caterpillar pose. You can root the sit bones down, take an inhale, reach the arms up above your head, and then exhale, start to come forward. slowly start to lift yourself back up. Good. Shrug the shoulders back. From here, we're going to take Dragonfly pose. So I'm going to be turning around to face the long side of my mat. You can extend the legs into an open V shape. Doesn't matter how wide the legs are. Try to sit up on top of the sit bones and avoid rounding the low back here. If you need to, sit back on top of your prop or on a blanket. Take your time. We'll start to bring ourselves forward. And just to your own degree, there's no rush. Landing at your edge and expanding into the posture with each breath. And each conscious breath in and out is a meditation. And taking one last inhale. And exhale, letting it go, slowly bringing yourself all the way back up. And let's bring the legs back together in front of us. And for a moment, windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And then we'll go ahead and lie down on our back. Let's bring the knees up towards the chest. We're going to let the knees fall over towards the right side. Getting into a gentle twist here. You can reach the left arm out beside you. Slowly bringing the legs back in towards center. And then taking them over to the other side. And slowly returning to neutral. Maybe you can wrap the arms around your legs here and gently rock from side to side. Let's take an inhale, fold the forehead towards the knees, and an exhale to let everything go. Savasana. deepening your breath. And let's gently begin to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, roll through wrists and ankles. And as you feel ready, draw your legs together, float your arms above your head, taking one last long stretch here. Rolling over onto one side, pausing for a moment, and then slowly making your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Let's end by bringing the palms into heart center, maybe setting some kind of intention for the rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me for this yin yoga practice. I really hope you liked this sequence. If you did like it, please go ahead and leave a like on the video, maybe a comment down below, and do subscribe to help support the channel and more videos just like this one. Namaste.